So what I wanted to say is that I have practiced this work, we might call religiously, for 43 years. And I believe that I do have a far more thoroughgoing understanding than anyone else that I have run into, aside from Dr. Asen himself. And my desire from the beginning has always been to enable people of all sorts and ages to do this. And since I had a good time doing it with third graders and seniors and people in intensive care and in prison right off the bat, I know that that is a perfectly reasonable thing because we had a good time doing that. When I started teaching this, I chose Seeing Our Way Clear as the signature line for my teaching enterprise, which I call Image Grove. And that is essentially what I want people of all sorts to realize that we can now do. And so that's the essential aim. And it's these images that enable us to see far more clearly how we can get a hold of ourselves and behold each other with far more lucidity and understanding than we're used to.
Sure.
It's always in this most important to start with the image and then anything you want to say beyond that, because otherwise people have no footing and they can't see what you're talking about. You give them the footing and then they can be with you and then they can have, join with you. So what we're doing, we need to go on is tell the image first in the present tense, doing the body-mind concentration, move by move, frame by frame. You could just start with the present that means something to you, and then if it seems pertinent, we can go back into the earlier thing. But it's
Okay.
the current emanation that is working for you would be fine, okay?
So the brief backstory, my original image was of my father, who was a teacher, and pounding on the table for late. We have to get, going. He couldn't be late to school. I couldn't hold things up, and I would stress and tense up. And it was just, he just really got very nervous, and I would sort of retreat. And then I went through it a few times, and this image came to me. So being back in that moment, or experience the image now, if you will.
Yes.
Across from the table. And what sprang forth, and has sprung forth, and is currently springing forth for me since that day, is Christopher Reeve's Superman. The gentle, calm, but stealing, like not losing his ground, not losing my ground, I could say. Being able to calmly stare down an issue with a little bit of perhaps grace and compassion and empathy, but to be able to look at it and say, no, we will, we'll get through this. I can handle this. I can take a little breath, which, you could see him also do this, and it's quite the myth. But Christopher Reeve, that sort of just being able to stare down the issue, talk it through calmly, and just move on and get ready to, fly off or whatever is needed to handle the situation, fly forward. That's the image that comes to me.
Okay, so can I ask you to look at it? And ISM concentration means look at
Sure.
feature by feature. And as you're drawn, one feature at a time, ask your body as imager, how is that feature in the image touching me? Where is it moving me? What direction is it moving me in? So can you just look at the image that's playing in front of you now and do what I call ISM concentration, image, somatic response, and meaning concentration on it, frame by frame, move by move, step by step.
Okay. It's almost humorous, but I've taken off my glasses, so I've gone from Clark Kent to Super Dan here. Um, the first thing I notice is the tightness, basically throughout here, and taking a little, being more grounded and more full in terms of just standing up strong, like you could say like an oak, but again, to me, it's this particular incarnation of Superman. To get into it, I often need to breathe, and then I feel in my eyes that sort of stealing down look, a Man of Steel, if you will, um, and that sort of focus and intensity. There's a lot of power behind it. I feel that the gaze almost it deflects everything that was coming at me in terms of my father and his, worries and things about being late.
So if I'm not quite clear now, as you see the intensity of Superman's look, gaze, you feel within yourself something that's deflecting the intensity of your father's response. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a strong sort of, I don't know, say emanating or we talked about these energies, and it's this look forward, a gaze that you can't, ignore. It's like I'm physically
Okay, the main
feeling.
thing is just to look at it and see it very simply and just ask your body, where is this touching me? How is this moving me? And you want to do that as simply and directly as possible
I
without
can tell,
all the other
I
filling in, okay?
can tell you right now that it's almost hard to describe because it's a feeling that goes from my eyes and around here. Some it tends to a strength that pushes forward. That's what I'm feeling.
Good.
And it's sort of it's it's a calm, collected, sort of powerful. There's power behind it, Superman and all that jazz, but it's also it's kind.
Yes, but
It's
please slow
it's
down a minute,
compassionate.
please. Concentrate on the collected. And as you see the collected, where exactly is that in your body?
So it's two places. One, collected. Let me make sure. Collected is in the breath. As soon as I've taken that breath, I'm now, Superman, Super Dan.
All right. Do you see
I want to
how
say,
important it is to identify the chief facet that is really meeting an immediate need? I am asking you to concentrate sequentially, because that way you'll get the strength. Okay?
mm,
If you just keep rolling, you won't get the collected. Okay? You follow me?
I'm trying to focus while still focusing on the moment and the feeling. What I will say is, as soon as I've taken the breath, there's a stillness and focus, which can always be something that's helpful in my world to have focus and clarity, um, supervision, if you will. But I'm basically focused on what's right in front of me and ready to take it on. And
Okay, so the chief thing that I'm hoping for us to keep demonstrating is reciprocal vision, where you ask yourself to see yourself from the other person's shoes. And then, we take it from there. So is there any, would either one of you like to ask yourself to see yourself in, in the initial central Superman image that he presented and tell us something?
Okay. So I see myself as a child, and I'm with my father, and we're in the garage in the house where I grew up. and my dad's working on the car. He's got the hood up, and he's going back and forth. I see him looking under the hood and then getting under the car. And I'm about 7 or 8 years old. I see myself standing there beside my father. And as I see that, I notice some tension in my chest and in my arms, in my back. It's this real clenched kind of feeling. And I feel some fear. And
Where's that striking you?
yeah, the fear it's largely the same as that clenching feeling, but I feel it right now. I feel it most like on the midline from my gut up through my chest. Definitely notice some almost like it's almost like queasiness in my gut, like a little motion with some heat. And
Would you let me ask you a question there?
sure.
When you went a little further into your response, how did you feel about it? Did you feel better, or however? There's a difference between your first telling and your second telling. How did you feel about the change there?
Yeah, just help me get into it more.
Oh,
Help me kind of drop down a layer when I paused when you invited me to pay attention to the fear and how that's showing up in my body. It just helped me really feel it more. And
okay,
be
so that's the reason I interrupted you is that we can be looking into something that feels awful, but getting in touch with exactly what it is, we can feel good about seeing it more clearly. That's the
Mhm.
only point I was hoping to make. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess it's a relief.
Yes, exactly. The
Uh,
clarity is a blessed relief.
right.
Yeah,
It's a relief just to,
it limits it, whereas otherwise it was just, you didn't know how big it was, right? But this is that. Yeah,
yeah.
great. Thank you. Go ahead.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, so in this image, my dad he's doing something under the car and he wants me to be like up above, reaching down into the engine and like holding something or moving something a certain way. He basically needs an extra pair of hands in there to try to do what he's doing. And I apparently can't figure out how to do what it is that he wants me to do. And I feel this kind of outward energy, like part of me is like trying to figure it out, and I want to help, but uh maybe because of the fear or whatever's going on, it's not going the way my father wants. And yeah, I feel this kind of exasperated feeling. I feel it, uh still feel it everywhere here. I feel like the heat in my torso and the tension, but I also feel this energy like coming up from my mid back into the back of my neck, just like this exasperated feeling like kind of like, what do you want me to do? I don't know how to do this. And yeah, so it's a mix that the fear is still there, that undercurrent of fear is there, but it also takes on this quality of more outward too, like frustration, exasperation. And then I see my dad standing up in the garage, and he's got some kind of tool. I think it's a wrench. I see him, he throws it, and it hits the garage door. And yeah, just when I see that, I feel some disgust,
Where?
like in my throat. But it's just the bigger thing is just like this real freeze moment, just like it's like this disgust mixed with just yeah, being more still. Yeah, there's this real flow from the fear to the exasperation, and now the stillness.
Where is that freeze?
Yeah, the freeze is everywhere. It's just like it has almost like a deliberate quality to it, though. It's not like I'm being frozen from outside. It's just from inside, as if I'm just pausing, like, whoa, what's going on here? I need to just disengage from this. And doing that helps me at least kind of reset inside myself. That's what that breath felt like that I just had. It's like, okay, dad's mad. He's having a tantrum. I'm just gonna reset. And yeah, and Dan's image was really helpful for me today, actually. Really helpful. That reset I'm feeling in my body as soon as I really tuned into that reset quality. I got the Superman just right here. Whatever's going on out there can go on, but I don't need to totally get hooked with it. So it's this real just centering, grounding quality. And then yeah, going back to Dan's image again, that gaze, that outward gaze, and the power of that combined with the grounded. I feel more strong and calm. I feel this settling down in myself. I feel some compassion toward my dad. Yeah. Feel it in my heart. Just like more spaciousness in my heart. Yeah. I could probably go into it more, but that really feels like it is. As soon as you started sharing, Dan, and sharing that image with us, I felt it like, oh, this is an important image for me to be hearing today and to be receiving. So thank you.
Thank you.
Our inner lights shed light into each other's imagination, and then our imagination picks up on it in a certain way. He told you how your image influenced his emanation, his imagination. So what I'm asking you to, in kind, do another, reflect in imaging what your imagination is picking up from his. Follow me?
I would really like to share my experience which, you know, is still coming to me as I say it. He described things that I forgot that I was experiencing in terms of there's the expansiveness and all that. But what I'd like to start at the beginning, which was one of the things I forgot about from my original image, was the reassurance. And I wanted to reassure him. But before I could even get there, because I mean, he was going through it, the wrench flew. And what I wanted to do was catch it, you know, not have it bang, not have it make that loud, dramatic noise, those reverberations. I wanted to be able to sort of swoop in because I wanted to be ready to swoop in and save. So I just wanted to catch the wrench and do that. And that sort of came to me immediately in terms of the feeling of, you know, that's not going to have that impact. It's not going to cling against the door or the whatever it was. And then I wanted to go in and reassure him. The problem and the wonderful thing, though, is I didn't have to do that. That he became his own, you know, Superman. That he got there himself, and that was even more, and is more. Want to use the word reassuring, if I will, but it was wonderful. It's
Yeah,
a short way to say
yeah,
it, and
exactly.
that he was there himself, and he was once, and he you know, drew upon physically and otherwise the energy of being in a different pose, a different mindset, a different focus, and that was more beautiful than, you know, had I tried to go in and save him.
Okay, all
Thanks.
right. But that's a great point, and that's very beautifully, and I'm glad the word wonderful came through there. Okay, okay,
It's
okay.
marvelous.
So, how are you doing with this, Diana? Would you like to tell us your image in response to Dan's image to begin with, please?
Sure. So I can see myself at the dinner table with my family, and my dad's upset, and he's yelling at the radio, and I hate listening to news while we're having dinner. I really dislike him yelling at the radio or just yelling in general. It makes me feel very tight in a similar way across the chest, my shoulders, my stomach hurts, and my lower abdomen hurts. And also, I feel like I don't really want to eat because I am so tense. And, well, I feel like I want to go under the table
Yeah,
and sort of hide.
okay. And do you do that?
Yes.
And as you do that, what's happening in your body here as imager?
Well, it's not much better. I would
Okay,
rather be upstairs.
you'd rather be upstairs? Did I hear you right? Okay, so what you want to do is get in touch with the negativity in order for your image to show you the way out of it, all right? So that's the basic way emanation works. So if you will just let yourself feel that negativity and let me know when you're feeling it at its worst.
Okay, at its worst, I'm going to have to go sit back up at the table. And there is no way out.
So tell me
yeah.
what's happening in your body when you feel it at its worst.
My chest is really tight, and I feel like I can't breathe. And
All right. Now see another you jumping out of that you and facing this situation another way entirely. What happens?
it's already alleviated somewhat.
Okay, but nevertheless, it's still there, right? Partly there.
Okay.
Okay, so get in touch with what your current body response is to what you're seeing now with the younger you. Let me know when you're feeling it at its worst.
Okay.
Now see another you jumping out of that younger you and facing this situation another way entirely, however outrageously. What's happening?
I'm going out the door.
All right, so what's happening as you go out the door? What are you experiencing in your body as Imager?
Um, I'm feeling empowered, and even though I'm pretty young, I'm going to go down to my friend's house and hang out with her.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm. So when you feel empowered, ask your body, where am I feeling empowered? How is that touching me? How's that moving me? You're feeling empowered.
well, actually, I'm feeling more angry than empowered. I'm
Well,
feeling more angry. Angry feelings are making me feel strong. Put it that
good. So that's what I want to know. I want you to recognize exactly what feelings of strength are coming through now. That's what I want you to recognize now.
way. Right, but it's sort of a fuck you type of strength.
That's okay. It's still strength, isn't it? See,
Mm-hmm.
these things are stages, so you can do another emanation. But the first thing is to absorb the fact that now you're feeling strong. Then you can make the next move, okay? So you don't want to be slipshod over you know, you want to go step by step. Because if you just slip along, you never grasp the strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
Yes,
So now that you're feeling the strength and the anger, would you like to do another emanation?
sure.
Okay, so get in touch with you see that you're feeling that angry, but that's strength, but you don't something you don't like about the angry, right? Is that correct? So
Yeah.
intensify the negative and feel it as intensely as possible and let me know when you're feeling that.
Yep, I'm feeling it.
See another you jumping out of that you now and facing this situation another way entirely. What do you see?
I'm yelling at my dad.
All right. And as you see that you're yelling at your dad, what are you experiencing in your body here as Imager?
Um, I'm afraid.
Where are you afraid? What part of your body is afraid?
Mm, my tops of my legs, my upper chest, my shoulders. Um, yeah,
Okay, so
throat is really.
now
Mhm.
you're feeling that afraid. We're going to do another emanation. So just intensify your awareness of that feeling afraid and let me know when you're feeling that at its worst.
Okay.
Now see another you jumping out of that you and facing this situation another way entirely. What happens?
I'm not even there.
All right, and how does that feel?
Feels great.
Where does it feel great?
Well, I feel like I can breathe, so my upper chest is more relaxed. It's not totally relaxed. More relaxed. Shoulders are more relaxed. My arms feel loose. Um, my legs feel settled, like they don't want to run away. So sort of in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my lower abdomen's relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Still some tension in my jaw and in my throat.
Okay, so it's your choice now. Would you like to stay with this image for a while and repeat it for a while, or you want to do another emanation?
Um, well, this feels sort of like an ending point or a conclusion. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll just leave it up to you, but I want you to know that when you feel moved to do the same process again, where you intensify the negative and see another you jumping out of that you may have cleared it altogether, but it's all it is important for you to want to do that. But
So
I can
the-
see an advantage because this is such a liberation. You went so far now, it might be good for you to live with this for a while because that's a wonderful release that you just did, right? And
Right.
so to get to know that and that that's really possible and see how swiftly you did that, it's important for you to take time to absorb that. And then if you want to do it now, I'll be glad. But it sounded a little uncertain, so I thought leave it up to you. You want to
So
stay? Yeah.
this feeling like, for example, the tension that I'm feeling in my jaw and my throat,
Yeah.
that be the residual that we're sort of like going after, you might say?
Yeah, it certainly is our touch point. So
Okay.
we don't know what the next image is going to reveal, right? But
Uh-huh.
we can you can intensify that negative and we'll see what happens next if you want to do that. You want to do
Sure.
that? Okay, so it's just a matter now, concentrate on that tension that you're experiencing and let yourself feel it at its worst. And let me know when you're feeling at its worst.
Well, that's interesting. So I just had this feeling like somebody was choking me, but immediately it just went away. Like the tension went away.
Wow. So how are you feeling now?
Good.
Is that clear?
There's a tiny bit of tension in my jaw.
All right, so let's give it another go. So again, it's simple. The steps are very straightforward. Just see whatever is difficult, concentrate on that. Let yourself feel it as intensely as you can. Let me know when you feel that.
I feel it.
See another you jumping out of that you and facing this situation another way entirely. What do you see?
Singing.
You're singing. Did I hear you correctly?
Mhm.
All right. And so what is your body telling you now?
It's all good. It feels
Tell us. I couldn't hear you.
I said my body feels great. I don't feel any tension. I feel like there's sort of a stance of an open stance that I'm standing in, and I have my mouth open and I'm singing, although I can't really hear what I'm singing. But
Okay, as you concentrate on that open stance, what do you notice happening in your body here? Did you see that big breath?
I felt
I did. Go ahead.
yeah. So very, very almost two-dimensional, very flat and open, but not,
Mhm.
yeah, like more, like less in the physical body, more in the spiritual.
As you concentrate on the open, what is the emotion that comes with the concentrating on the open?
Like I feel relieved.
Uh-huh. And what parts of your body feel relieved?
My breathing, my
Mm-hmm.
chest, breathing in
Mm-hmm.
particular.
I didn't hear the last, I'm sorry.
Breathing in particular,
Yeah.
not just chest, but like actual, like my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And also I feel that a weight is off my shoulders. Like I feel buoyant.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It feels great.
Yes, ma'am. So that's an image that you can just bring to mind many times over to let that become part of your current operating system, if I may use that, right? Anything more you want to say, Diana?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I want to say that you did just a very perfect demonstration of how well emanation works and how swiftly it works. And that is really the secret of this whole methodology, that we have direct access to that buoyancy that we've been overlooking entirely. Memory consciousness doesn't know it's there, but we have that bounce in us. And all that practicing this does is put us in touch with that. It's right there for us. And it's when we've had heavy duty things, it can take us a long time to believe in our buoyancy. But that's the secret. That's why I do this. And I'm so happy that you can just do it, right?
Yeah.
And then, you have to begin to believe that you can just do that, because it takes time to believe that. And, especially if you have some heavy duty things that may be very complicated and convoluted. And so I myself had a very, convoluted time. I had before I could go and really be straightened out enough to just, okay. So it's a pleasure to see that you can just get right with it.
Thank you.